Yes, people, welcome back to the One True Red podcast. Joined by Uche and Mikey this week. Boys, it's hot, mate. It's too hot.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But you know what else is hot? The transfer market. And it's hot enough. It's hot enough for Arsenal. It's hot enough for Arsenal. And news breaking this week, Mikey, coming to you. Exciting news. Christian Norgaard coming in. £11 million, or is that euros? I don't know. Looks like the Partey replacement. But my question is that strengthening or is that weakening Arsenal?
I think the Partey replacement Zubamendi, to be honest. So anybody that's kind of doing like for like is just chatting nonsense. Zubamendi is clearly going to come in as first team. That's what we're seeing now. I would have preferred that Partey was extended. I think that the £11 million used on signing Norgaard could have been used for Partey's wages.
Well, that's the thing I didn't understand. It's like you're paying £11 million. Obviously, it's amortized over however many years of his contract. But then you're paying Norgaard as well. So surely that money would just pay for whatever contract.
I can only think they don't trust his health. Partey's been good one season, off one season, injured, good one season. So they must just not trust his health. Those aging bones, who knows how old.
Hey.
But Norgaard's one of those just run-of-the-mill players that plays most minutes, crushes people. He'll be sitting on the bench a lot. So maybe he's someone that's needed for the squad. But yeah, not infused by the signing. But we needed to strengthen everywhere in terms of the bench, people that are willing to play on the bench and people that can actually do something. Norgaard's just a breaker for me, so we can move on.
We're not going to move on just yet. Not just yet. We're going to get Uche's reaction to this as well. We're going to get Uche's reaction to it, but just thinking again about the strengthening point. So Partey and Jorginho leave, Zubamendi and Norgaard come in. Uche, I'm not sure about you, but I'm not really quaking in my boots at that business.
There's nothing to quake. Even to be honest, like I said before, it doesn't really matter what they do. I think one thing I would say though is that you can't underestimate the togetherness that most of the top three Premier League sides have. So I think sometimes you probably, like you said, it might be not an improvement, but at least they're still going to be up there. But in terms of the actual player, I could see why you would sign such a player. Squad player can play a lot of games. Could easily start 10 to 15 Premier League games. But in terms of taking Arsenal to where they need to be, obviously, that's not going to be the one, is it? So, but like Mamtal's already said, I think something else to bear in mind is that probably played a part is that he's going to AFCON. And obviously, looking at what much he's asking for, I'm thinking Partey is not worth the hassle. So he's going to go and get his money elsewhere.
I wonder where he's going to end up, actually, because I've not seen him linked with anyone yet. Maybe Saudi Arabia.
I don't think he needs to worry too much about it because as free transfer, he doesn't need to worry about it. As long as he wants to play football, there'll be buyers or takers because it's a very good player. Thank you very much, Kipsy. But in terms of the actual what we're talking about, I mean, Arsenal, I'll give them credit. We can't really judge. It's too early. Maybe like our accountant, our resident chartered accountant keeps telling us there's something that's happening at the end of June that, apparently they're going to come flooding in. So Arsenal are biding their time for the end of the accountancy year. So let's wait and see if he's right. And obviously Sesko, Goicores and maybe Yamal and everybody will come to Arsenal. But, let's be patient and wait for this end of June because our chartered accountant here seems to have been talking about more signings after June. So let's wait and see. Give him a bit of time.
Well, I said that our signings will be made towards the beginning of July, and lo and behold,
that's it.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Norgaard in. We're linked with, is it Mascada, the Valencia centre back? Yeah. Kepa's deal is going to be done. Zubamendi will be finalised because it's still not finalised, is it? but when we hit July, they'll be finalized.
Yep.
And then it looks like that we've got Sesko and Gyökeres lined up. So whichever one they choose, we'll get if we want them. They're just playing off against each other to get a price that they want to spend.
Comment for everyone. 31-year-old, 11 million sign isn't going to get anyone shook. Absolutely. But
it's not supposed to get people shook. I mean, like I said, give credit to the team, because at the end of the day, sometimes you need squad fillers. You need someone who could do a job. This is not, the transfer window has not finished, and Arsenal, like I said, as a team, do quite well, and they have done quite well. So,
listen, Jorginho didn't play too much, and that's who I'm seeing Norgaard's replacement. So it just doesn't make sense.
it's more than likely, Kibsy. More than likely, he hasn't actually shared his views with us yet, has he?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't exactly jumping for joy, was he?
No, definitely not. So speaking of bigger signings, Mikey, so you're saying that whichever one you choose between Gyökeres and Sesko are going to be the ones.
Yep.
Has there been any more news as to which way the club or the players are leaning? Nothing this week?
No, the talk is that it's Sesko. The talk is that it's Sesko that we want. Gyökeres wants to come to us. But it's the money that Leipzig are holding out for that we're not willing to spend. So they're trying to get the price down. So it's whichever one they decide is the right price is who they're going to go for.
Is that the
both deals have been advanced as they work differently? So I'm informed that Edu worked on one singular target and went for him, whereas Berta will line up his players that he wants, and then he'll narrow it in and get the player at the end. We'll see.
But are they similar? They're not really similar, are they? In terms of their playing style. So
how many strikers are similar in terms of playing style?
Not many. Not many.
So what are we talking about?
For me, it's a case of you should know who your target is. Go get that target. Fair enough if they're playing sort of public games with where we're interested in both, and then blah blah blah, so they can play clubs and agents off each other. But surely you must know which of the striker that you want, and you just go get him. That's my view.
And what if they don't get him then?
Then you either don't sign anyone. If you do the Liverpool way, you don't sign anyone at all.
That's what you started for last season. We didn't sign anyone last season. And we spent a whole season of you saying, oh, you could have got Sesko. No, we couldn't, because last season, summer, Sesko didn't want to come. In January, he did, but Leipzig didn't want to sell. And now they're playing around with money. And his numbers don't even add up to the money they're asking for. It doesn't make sense. So
start of pre-season, you're going to have Jesus back, and you're going to have Kai Havertz. So you really need another strikers.
Don't mention Jesus to me.
And Marino. Mikey, and Marino as well.
Yeah,
he's not. That's fine. Choice. We just discussed squad fillers.
Yeah.
What's the Carabao Cup? Whatever that cup is now. Marino will play there.
Oh, everyone. Well said, Real. Go get your target. That's why I say Arsenal won't get Sesko or Gyökeres. Watch.
Well, everyone's usually wrong about these things. I'm positive. Arsenal will get Sesko or Gyökeres. I'm confident.
But the thing is, the thing is, so okay, look at it this way.
What are you saying now?
That you're not going to get one or the other.
Don't give me a story. I just made a statement saying that we'll get Sesko or Gyökeres.
Yes.
And your response was, the thing is. What?
The thing is, Mikey, they've got their valuation. You must have your valuation. If it doesn't meet, then that means it's Moreno and Havertz.
Okay. We can do this back and forth, but I've just told you I'm confident we're getting one. So it makes no difference to me what you say.
Well, fair enough. I'm not confident I'm not as confident as you are, Mikey, on that one. But
it's 100%.
For me, it's all entertainment for me. I'm not really fussed which one you get. I think As I've said before, I think
will be because you're linked with 2 of them.
Unfortunately for us, we're linked with one
fake
of them.
news.
I've not seen much from anyone reputable linking us
Just
to
more fake news by Mikey. Fake
You've
news.
been linked to both.
Fake news.
There have been
Okay.
linked, but reputable, no.
Is Ben Jacobs reputable? We'll throw out some names.
Maybe.
Right.
Who's he linked us to? Who's he linked us to?
Gyökeres this week.
I've not seen that one, but I'll take your word for it, Mikey. I'll take your word for it, Mikey.
You were too much in the Verts bubble.
Now I've moved on. I'm in the Gahey bubble. Kibsy 71, Mikey. Which one out of Sesko Gyökeres would you prefer and would suit Arsenal?
Kibsy, you've heard this before. Gyökeres is the one that I would like. Sesko is the one that I expect them to sign. I think Gyökeres will get goals wherever he goes. I don't think there should be that stigma. And so that's what we'll focus on. Oh, everyone, come on. We've already said on the pod just earlier, the financial year hits. That's when Arsenal are going to be doing their business. We'll see.
Listen to the chartered accountant. I keep telling you guys, educate yourselves. When he speaks, listen.
You know what? Fans just need to do a little bit of research.
Thank you.
That's all. Just a little bit. Not a lot. Just a little bit.
I'm trying to help them out. I said, stop questioning the chartered accountant. We have it in
I don't understand.
But anyway, I was going to say, but the thing is, I'm not saying that again.
In a couple of weeks,
get Mikey triggered.
You can audit what I've said over what signings we're going to get. Audit, and you'll see.
Okay, Mamtasef will either win the title for you, Mikey.
Either striker,
yeah,
we'll be there. I'm quite content. We get a striker in and a full season from our players without any major injuries of Saka and that. We'll be up there. But City are there, and I said this previously and was shut down. But trust me, City are going to be the ones to challenge.
Of course they're going to challenge. Why would they not?
No. You didn't say there was a challenge. Don't try it.
Of course they will challenge. But what is the challenge?
No, bro, are you going to accept this?
No, but what is the challenge?
I agree with you. I said you set him up on that one.
But what is the challenge? What is the challenge? I have to technically say you challenged us for the title last season. What is the challenge? What is it?
Liverpool won't win the league. There you go. That's my statement.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm saying. So I'm being serious. I'm like, it depends on what you define as a challenge. You could technically say that Arsenal were challenging us for the title last year. But when you look at the table, I wouldn't call that an actual challenge. So
will City be challenging you?
Sorry?
Will City be challenging
you? It depends what define what a challenge is to you. Let's define that first.
No, by your terms of challenge.
By my terms of challenge, if you're within 5, if we're going to the last penultimate game or the last game of the season, that to me is a challenge. So I don't think that we get that far.
So unless there's somebody that's within touching distance in points wise on the final game of the season.
No, final or penultimate game, which means that we have to do something. Yeah, penultimate. Don't forget what I said. Okay. Second to last game last game.
I'm not forgetting. I'm clarifying. I need to be clear.
Okay, very good, very good. In fact, I wouldn't even go that far. I'll give you the third game to go, just for an additional free gift.
Oh, even when you shut down.
Sorry?
Liverpool stopped playing then, no?
That's what I'm saying, because the challenge is done. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't then say the challenge, because technically if you do that, then that means Arsenal challenged us as well. So we have to be like, let's really work on our definition, and then I can stick to it. What I meant by what I said is, I don't think it's going to be that tight like that. That's what I meant. So.
Gibbsy, what's up? What have I done wrong?
Everyone's back for you, Mikey. Financial year ended on the 31st of May. So
you don't understand PSR. Just do a little bit of detail.
You know he was gonna respond to that as well straight away.
This is the poor thing. Like, people just not understanding how things work.
This is the accredited channel. I told you guys, stop doubting this guy. If he says it, just wait. July, open season.
It's only next week.
It's only next week.
You have to wait until listen.
Thank you.
By the pod next Sunday, we'll have some signings in the door, and I expect some apologies.
Yes, but if at the same time, if there was no signings, then you can conference. Trust me, I'll
big enough
all of
to
you.
come and
apologize.
Backtrack.
Yes, that's it.
Apologize.
And just for clarity, I back the chartered accountant, just to make it clear.
Okay, Cameron, good to see you again. All the viewers watching, please, if you're not subscribed, please do so, and also do like this video. Everyone, see you next week. At Mikey, yes, please, see you next week.
See you next
All right then. So, guys, let's move on. World Cup. I always get it the wrong way around. Club World Cup. Is it bad for football? So this week we had Jurgen Klopp come with some comments about what he thinks about the Club World Cup, and I'll read them to you once I dig them out. 1 second. So Jurgen Klopp says, again, got it wrong around. The Club World Cup is the worst idea ever implemented in football. People who have never had anything to do with day-to-day business are coming up with ideas. Perhaps not everyone has recognized the real problem yet, that next season players will suffer injuries they've never had before. If not this season, then it will happen at the World Cup or afterwards. He then added on a bit more. An NBA player earns a lot of money and has 4 months of rest per year. Virgil van Dijk didn't have that in his entire career. Tournaments like the Club World Cup cannot take place at the expense of the players. I don't wish it on anyone. Guys, is Klopp right? Uche?
Yeah, I we're waiting for you to address who you want me to comment. Obviously, the legendary man.
It's a democracy. You can speak freely.
When he speaks, you got to listen. But obviously, I don't agree with what he's saying. Sometimes in football, you have to invent tournaments to keep things interesting. These guys, it's very hard to compare eras because these guys are fitter and they have more than rest. Their travel is significantly different. They travel in very high enclosures.
You know what, Kibsy? I forgot.
So,
my bad.
I don't want to come out. I really need to make it clear that I'm not an apologist. I don't like this, the guy that's in charge of FIFA. So, but to now, you can't just disparage, every single new tournament that comes in. So for me, no, it's not bad for football because football being overplayed. So he's used an example of Van Dijk. Well, he could have easily, when he was in charge of Van Dijk, rested him. But he wants to win football matches, so he's going to play him. When Van Dijk turns up for his national team, the national team manager wants to play, so he's going to play him. So who is to blame? I don't know. Everybody wants their best players to play.
Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point, though? So collectively, as a football, let's say, family, collectively, they should look at the football calendar and say, there's too much football going on because you've got, and in fairness, the clubs themselves don't help themselves because then they go off on these end of season. Like Man United went to the Far East, I think, straight after the season finished.
This is what I'm trying to say. When you have this, if you're gonna have this discussion, yeah, let's have it properly. You got it right. If you leave a calendar open, other people will jump on it and exploit it. It's been proven time and time again. It's what they do. People are looking at calendars to exploit. Like you rightly just said, the season had finished and they took them across to go and play in Asia. What for? For money, for an exhibition matches. So at the end of the day, let's just take it for what it is, which is absolutely right by Cameron. We're all trying to make money here. So the players, they have a big enough squad to manage the situation. I'm looking at the Club World Cup, yeah, and people are managing it extremely well. I don't see what the issue is. And this Club World Cup, by the way, is a very good tournament. I think it's better than a lot of tournaments anyway. So, and it's done on merit. It's not like people are coming in there are done on merit. So I don't think it's bad for football. No, it just could be better organized.
You can't do historical merit for competitions, though. I just don't think it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it could.
And remember, we discussed invites and creating placements for teams that include Messi.
It depends if you want to have a competition that is 32 teams or you want to have it for 8 or 16. The moment you increase it, you have to add more teams. You have to do it on merit, which is what they try to do. Can you do it better? Maybe. But I looked at it again after the pod had finished. And it's basically, you win the Champions League in that 4-year period, you're pretty much in, right? And then it's all about, in fact, the people that did not get it on merit per se, who got it on rankings, guess what's happened, Mikey? Most of them have been knocked out. So it's actually the champions who are progressing more than the people that got it full rankings. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong because the moment you bring it to 32 teams, you have to have some sort of way to do it. Well, again, like I said to you, they only had one representative from that side of the world. So technically, you can't have Club World Cup football and not include a whole side. So they only ticked one, and they did their thing on their merit on that side. That side was always going to be poor, unfortunately, because of the way it's the nature of football. That's just the way it is.
We'll only know if it's bad for football and what Klopp's suggesting in terms of injuries post-tournament will come into fruition next season. That's when we'll see. But even more of an issue is the playing styles that managers have got their teams playing. Like Klopp with his heavy metal football ended with loads of injuries.
Good point.
Ange with his high line popping off hamstrings. Arteta more recently, we've had a lot of muscle injuries through the way that we're playing. So managers have changed the style that their teams are playing, and that's impacted their teams more so than actual games they're playing. And I always have this argument about number of games playing. How many games a season has Messi played over 20 years?
Odd years, yeah.
Like a ridiculous, at least 60 plus. He's played more than anyone.
Oh, yeah, with international, yeah.
All the big players play. How many injuries has Salah had, really?
Not many. Just last couple of years.
And even Van Dijk was only out because of a terrible injury. Otherwise, he's pretty much played every game, and he's never showed any sign of muscle fatigue or anything. So, like you said, the problem is the moment you start getting injury, people are gonna jump on it. But let's talk about football, because at the end of the day, like you said, the best players have been available. How can Ronaldo and Messi still be playing football in this day and age, considering when they started, how young when they started playing football, the amount of football they've played, and you got people crumbling who have not played anywhere near that number, and we're blaming on something else. Like I'm talking about, I've got players in my team that haven't played anywhere remotely close in terms of minutes, whatever way you measure it. I can't even get anywhere close to 10 years of Messi's or Ronaldo's. So someone explain that to me. What's happening there? Like you said, ridiculous.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about loads of them. There's too many to mention. What his name is? Sorry?
Just a couple.
I don't want to. Then they're gonna say I'm hating. I don't want to do it.
No, who seriously?
I don't want to do it. He's there. He's blatant. It's obvious. One plays up front, one plays in midfield. That's all I need to say on the matter. They get injured a lot. They're not available for selection, and they don't play any near games. Sorry.
What about in goal?
Yeah, and in goal. Exactly. Thank you. This is what I'm saying. Like, I could be having hamstring injuries playing in goal. And you're going to what? You're going to blame that on the World Cup. He's not even gone to the Club World Cup. He's never gone anywhere near it. And he gets more injured than most outfield players. So, again, what are we talking about here? Let's just talk about what is what. Like, talk about facts. Facts is what we need to talk about. So, when people come to me about injuries, they talk about people who are actually playing more football, who are continuously fit for selection and banging it up. How about that?
I think we'll address this comment.
Yeah,
footballers are paid copious amounts of money. They should be keeping themselves in good peak physical condition. And we've seen that with the best. The best do that.
In fairness, though, Mikey.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no fairness.
I'm not even making my point yet.
Players in the world keep themselves in peak physical condition and play the most games.
In fairness, though, not everybody has the same physio. Like their body's not all the same. So
yes, of course.
Some people are just not going to be able to do 35, 40, 50, 60, 70 games at the highest level and be the number one guy. Anyway. Messi, Van Dijk, they're the number one guys for the national teams as well. Obviously, the same with Salah at Egypt as well. So not everyone, their body is going to be able to handle it. I mean, the guys that Uche talking, one of them is Curtis Jones. Let's just get the names out there. One of them is Curtis Jones. I think he was out for 3 months because somebody poked him in the eye or something like that. So
there you go. He's just a count.
This game isn't for everyone in terms of being fully fit all the time. But just looking at the end date of the Club World Cup, and it's the 13th of July is the final of the Club World Cup. The Premier League starts something like 16th of August, something like that.
Yes, we know that.
Yes. So going back to Cameron's point about how it's helping us and Arsenal, because City and Chelsea are going to be knackered. Let's say they both get to the final. They play the final on the 13th of July. Is that their pre-season? When do those players get time off?
You've answered your question.
That's the argument that people are giving.
You answered one question already. That's right. That's exactly what they've done.
It's better than doing a pre-season.
Yeah, but they're professionals. That's what I expect them to do.
But then because this hasn't been, as far as I'm aware, other than World Cup years, I guess is similar. and Euro trophies, but it's only just for these two teams. Your players will go play the final on the 13th of July, have 2 weeks off after that, and then come back and then start the league 2 weeks after that. So
listen, we have these tournaments. You just referenced the World Cup and the Euros.
Thank you.
We just had that's for everyone. We just had the under-21s final yesterday. Like, there are these tournaments in this time frame that people have to manage with. And some teams have more players represented than others. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Yes, there is a chance of fatigue, but there's also a chance that they'll run into the season and that will take them through.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is we've seen this way back when to Wenger days and even Ferguson, where basically he would select certain players and they'll say the first 2, 3, or 4 weeks of the season, right? They don't even start setting players.
Yeah.
So they're still getting some rest. I mean, these are things that have been done in front of our faces. So it's happened many times over. So when people are trying to make out like this is something new, it's not actually something new. You have another tournament, you just need to manage your team, manage your time. These guys have got 25 professional international players. Manage your players well, and there will be no issue. The people that are going to get injured, unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, are normally going to get injured because they are injury prone. Increase the intensity, they will break down. Whether you want to play 40 games, 30 games, is there anything that we haven't tried well for certain months and they still get injured?
Name names.
Is there anything left to try? Seriously, I'm being very, very serious. Is there anything else you can think of? Would you generally tell me those players that get injured is because of overplaying? There is no way.
But that's what that's all that's kind of the point I was trying to make, is that some players, the physical element of it is just not for them, and they can't handle 20, 30, 40, 50 games a season. But we'll see how it impacts the players. Going back to something you posted, Uche, in the group chat about the Club World Cup and the fact that the Chelsea game yesterday was paused for about an hour and a half because of extreme weather conditions. And I think you posted that it's a 6th Club World Cup game in which players have left the field due to severe weather protocols.
It's terrible.
Obviously, we've got the World Cup coming over there as well. Well, it's across terrible. 3 countries, but one of them over there.
It's terrible.
It's a worry.
No, it's not a worry. It's terrible. But this is where we are in life, where it's telling you what is my priority. My priority from FIFA is, look, I want you to play football when I want you to play. And no one's done enough planning. There's certain parts of USA. This is known, by the way. It's like a known information. You don't play. This is the same reason why people that don't know what they're doing try and say, why can't you have AFCON in the summer? Because you might think there. You might actually see somebody literally lose their life there. You're asking people to play in extreme condition. So, for example, why did they play at 1 o'clock or 1, 2 o'clock local time? It's because they're thinking, oh, let's try and get the European audience, right? But that's when it's the hottest. Like, are you actually okay? This is what's happening.
But who's making these decisions then? Obviously, it's FIFA,
they're making it because they need to make it. Everything's about money. Unfortunately, this is the life we're living, right? This is literally real life issues. Right? They're making this decision to get more eyeballs, right? It should never be played, but they wanted to constrict the group stages, so they had to play 3 games. So what we're going to do is going to play it really early in the morning and just squeeze it in. That's what's happening. It's not right. Like you said, the World Cup is coming to the same place, and some of these World Cup stadiums come in there. Did that stop them? No. This is just, I don't know what else to tell you, mate. This is how it is. The last time they held the World Cup in 1994, I heard there's some extreme situations as well when this was happening, and they still played it.
But doesn't that feed back into what Klopp is saying about the fact that it's the worst? Because how are you making? They know this. FIFA know this, but they did it anyway.
Yes, because like next year,
trial run for next year, or what's the plan here?
They're not going to change the dates for next year. It's going to be the same unless they get lucky. That's it. That's the only thing that could happen. Or you don't play in certain of this country. Literally, it's going to be the same thing. Like it's not. You can't avoid it. Boy, that check hasn't come through. I tell you now, if he has, you wouldn't have seen me. I'm just listen, guys. All I'm trying to do is trying to tell you guys the full extreme. Just give you my view. Some of you don't watch the tournament, which I find is very difficult, but yet you comment on it. It's a very good tournament, right? And also, I'm seeing things that I like. I like teams, especially South American teams who are competing hard. People are happy to do it. What's wrong with it? So back to the actual question on point. These guys cannot be playing in this condition. This is clear. For example, Real, you remember, I keep going back to it, the Real Madrid final between Tottenham and Liverpool. Should that in Madrid between Liverpool and Tottenham? Knowing what we know on that day, should really be playing on that day. Come on, that was ridiculously too hot. But you've done what you've done. You have to play it. There's no other option. So when people see it, they're like, "Oh, how come this game is not?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's because you're not there. If you were there, you will understand why certain games go a certain way. You can't run in those conditions. You will literally collapse.
But then it's not great. It's not a great spectacle. I mean, I've watched bits and bobs of the tournament so far. And like you, I am finding it interesting watching the South American teams come up against European teams. But if people can't run, if people later on in the tournament, it's slow football and all that sort of stuff. Where's the entertainment? It's novel. It's a novelty at the moment. But if this is, I don't know how many years, how frequently they're looking to have this tournament. But the novelty will wear off at some point. They struggle to get anyone to pay for the rights to show the thing in the first place this season. Half the stadiums are half empty. So
don't worry about any of that. Let me tell you something. This tournament is here to stay. That's a fact. You can quote me on that. That's never going anywhere. This tournament is never going anywhere.
Show us the check.
Second thing about your point. About a point already unsurprisingly exclusive on the Guardian today. Check it out for yourself. They've just said that Qatar are interested in hosting the next one, right?
Of course, that's a surprise. Massive
surprise.
They
don't need your money. Like, again, you guys keep getting it twisted. They don't need your ticket. They don't need you to show up in games and do rah in the stadium. What are you talking about? Like, that's not the point. The point is eyeballs from the TV. Football and the highest level, most sports has now become all about the people that watch it from home, from their different devices. That's just a life. That's just a reality. Let's stop talking about the past. Let's live in the real world where we are today. That's where sport is going. It's all about eyeballs outside of that stadium. That's what it is. I'm not a salesman, I keep seeing. I'm just telling you what.
He's definitely.
I'm just telling you. If we're here in 4 years' time, it's not going to surprise. It's going to surprise some of you. I will not be surprised. This tournament ain't going anywhere. Sorry to tell you. Just isn't.
What do you mean if? There's no if.
That's what I'm saying. Then we're going to be talking about it, and I'm going to be reminding you that what I said 4 years ago, which is that this tournament is here to stay. And all European teams I've seen are taking this tournament as extremely seriously as you can possibly get. So
the money might have something to do with that. What is
it?
What and another 50 for winning?
Well, it's good to be motivated, isn't it, Rel? Right? That's why we can get up at work, go to work, isn't it? It's good to be motivated. It's good to have to go and chase that hustle. Well, ain't nothing wrong with it. Like, it's been proven. Something to motivate you. Get up and do it. They take it very seriously. That's what you need to take away from. I'm not a salesman for this tournament. I'm just telling you, people that don't watch it, and it's very, very interesting. It's not the best, and it could be better organized.
Yes, viewers, it's very Uche the salesman said it's very interesting. So go watch it, because otherwise that check isn't gonna pay off.
It's not gonna catch itself, right?
Let's move on. Let's move on. So something else that we can ask the question about whether or not it's good or bad for football is some changes that the Premier League have announced for next season. Now, God, I mean, Uche, you're a big fan of American sports, and I'm a fair weather fan. I dip in and dip out, but there's certain things about American sports that I dislike. There's certain things that Americans dislike about American sports, and it feels like we're kind of trying to Americanize our great sport of football. So there's some changes that have been announced. Do you wanna put them up on the screen? I'll read them out as well.
Yeah.
So from next season, and this kind of crept up on my timeline on Twitter this week. So from next season, they're going to have halftime player and manager interviews. We're going to have interviews with players subbed off. We're going to have dressing room broadcasts. And then the camera operators are going to be allowed onto the pitch to capture close-up celebrations. So what nonsense is this? I just don't. I mean, I'm not the sort of person that doesn't like change. If it's for the good, then I'm all for it. But this just feels like nonsense to me, Mikey.
I don't care. Like, if they interview someone at halftime, I might watch it, but I don't care. Let them interview someone. If they interview a sub, they're already off the pitch. Interview them.
What they're going to say though?
They're basically trying to improve the spectacle, aren't they? That's what they're trying to do. So I don't think it's particularly Americanizing it. I think it's looking at the model that in America that's monetized very well, and they're trying to replicate that. So it's more about how they can monetize it rather than replicate American sport from how I see it. And some people listen to football without commentary. So, and there's channels that don't have commentary on as well now. So you can pick and choose. You don't have to watch the channel where there's interviews on. So from my perspective, they can do what they want as long as it's not impacting the game on the pitch. There's no cheating. I don't care.
No, well said. Like you said, obviously I'm not a supporter. I think it's a nonsense. A lot of the time when I have watched American sport and I have these halftime interviews, there's nothing. It's just nothing. Why would they give you anything? They're not going to give you anything. Exactly. You get absolutely nothing. It's just that one of those weird nothingness. It just happens over there. So after a while, you actually stop getting distracted by it. You just kind of mute them or whatever. So it almost becomes a nothing. Only they can justify that. So in terms of going into dressing room, that's probably one thing I've always wanted to have, to want to see, to be honest. Not in halftime, but just to see, the celebrations and how they get down and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the other two, you're not going to get anything at halftime. You're not going to get anything from the sub player. It's just what it is. But yeah, let them do whatever, man. No, some people might be interested in that kind of stuff, but I'm not interested.
I think, you imagine?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think
Pep's head wouldn't have recovered.
Yeah, for me, it's like, yeah, like Houdini says, they're trying to get people at the highest emotional state. But obviously, they're going to get wise to it, and they're just not going to give you anything, and then it just defeats the purpose. So for me, it's like, let the players play, let the managers do what they need to do, and we'll find out after the match. I don't care what I genuinely couldn't care less. If a player's been subbed off, I couldn't care less what he's thinking. Literally couldn't care less. I just want to know what's happening in the match. Same way, if we're losing at half time, I want the manager to go be in the dressing room telling the players what to do to win the match. I don't want him to tell the world, which he's not going to anyway. So what are we doing there? It's not. It's just completely.
Like I said, it's always very strange. It's like you watch it, you're thinking, what was the point of that? Honestly, every time that's gonna happen again. So they probably might last the season and they will take it off again. They're not gonna give you what you want. The only thing Houdini is completely right. They want to catch someone out. Maybe the first time he gets introduced, like I don't know. Salah getting substituted, and he's like, "Why am I getting outside like that?" But people are gonna afford. They're not gonna give you what they want. They're just gonna keep their mouth shut. They're gonna control them. So it's a nonsense. I definitely don't think you get any benefit. People are not gonna let loose like that. They're gonna be wise to it. But let them keep trying to improve the game. But I said the broadcast inside, if it is after the game, can be quite interesting. But apart from that, like you say, it's a waste of time.
Yep, agreed, everyone. Definitely, it's a nonsense, and we'll see how long it lasts. Like Uche says. Right. Well, I think we're going to end it there, lads. It's too hot. I need to get outside and lap up some sun. So what we're going to do is we're going to be back again next week. Thanks for joining us, everyone who's been involved in the chat. As a reminder, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and also like this video. Get us in the comments if you agree or not agree. Gibbsy, I'm waiting for one of the sub players to turn around and say,
Gibbsy, I'm gonna come for you. This cannot be allowed to carry on, Gibbsy. I'm telling you now.
Definitely. And Uche, if they're doing it in America again next time, get me a ticket as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How about courtside seats to watch Los Angeles Lakers? How does that sound? Yeah, you want it like over 100K a pop? Yeah, get that down. Yeah.
If you can do it for me, Uche, do it for me. Yeah. All right, everyone. Yep, absolutely. See you next Sunday.
I don't want a Cesco top. I want a Joker top. I told you.
Oh, see, telling you, it's giving it to you raw, mate. What's Jokerist all day, mate?
All right then, lads. As Kibsy says, have a good week, channel, and you guys as well, viewers. Have a good week, and we'll see you again next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, lads. We're out.